everyone, it's Nichol Spohr for Simon Says Stamp, and welcome to the January 2021 edition of Making the Cut. Each month I share some die cutting cards or techniques or ideas with you, all projects that feature die cutting. This month we've got some picture book Valentines using some brand new plus some previously released dies from Simon Says Stamp. We're going to be using this awesome new Mini Hearts Party die to die cut some panels and also do some really fun inlay. This is the most time-consuming part of this project if you choose to do as many cards as I did. One of the reasons I did as many cards is because I die cut this panel, and this is a 4 by 5¼ inch panel, and I die cut the Mini Hearts Party right from the center of this. Well, I want to put some adhesive on the back, and then off camera I did die cut 6 colors of reds and pink cardstock that I'm going to inlay into this design. You could definitely switch this up and make it something a little less Valentine's-y, kind of quote unquote, if you want to, by just switching up the colors. I have, like I said, 6 colors of cardstock here, and because I die cut this panel 6 times, I got lots and lots of hearts. I used some little dishes to kind of help keep them separated, and originally I just kind of did my first card from start to finish thinking, let's just see how it goes. Oftentimes that's what I'll do. I kind of thought I would probably do more than one card, but I wanted to just see, how's it going to go. I put adhesive on the back of my panel, placed it right on my card front. You can see it leaves a nice border all the way around. And because I put adhesive right behind all of those heart openings, it's super easy to inlay the hearts. I'm using an embellishment wand. You can use a crystal katana, jewel picker, something like that. It's going to make it a much quicker project. And I am simply doing row by row. Each row is a different color. Yes, some of this is going to get covered up with the die cut sentiment and our embellishment, but I love the simplicity of this heart background. I think there's so many things you can do with this Mini Hearts Party background, not just Valentine's Day. Really, really love and recommend this die. I think it's a good one. I am going to go ahead and finish inlaying my rows. You can see I kind of skipped around a little once I figured out my plan and placement, just as I would come across a heart that went in a certain row, I would go ahead and grab that. I will tell you, I did do 4 cards. I think I could have done 5, but by the time I got to 4, I was tired of inlaying, so I just saved the extra hearts to add to other projects. In fact, I used one of the extra hearts on my last card today, which I'll show you there. I can use a little heart anytime. Next, I'm going to stamp a sentiment from the Heart Animals stamp set. This is a super cute stamp set, also a new product from Simon Says Stamp, and it has cute little animal images that you can color, stamp, color, and die cut, but it has some great sentiments as well. Because this series is making the cut and we're focusing on die cutting, I always like to kind of mix in some stamping somewhere or stenciling or both or whatever. But the majority of these projects is die cutting, but I thought the sentiments from this stamp set worked really nice with the rest of the product that I'm going to use. Next, I am using this Hugs die from Kathy Zielski. I love it. It does come with a shadow. We're not going to use the shadow backer piece for this today. I've die cut it twice from smooth white cardstock and once from silver holographic cardstock. We're going to finish with the silver holographic on top, and then we're going to just pop this in place right above where we stamped our Sending Hugs and Kisses. Forgot to mention, I stamped Sending Hugs and Kisses with Simon Says Stamp Doll Pink ink. That's one of the colors of cardstock I used for my inlay background. totally love that color. Try to kind of stay away from black or anything really basic. I went full on Valentine's with these cards today. I loved the look of the pink stamped sentiment. We're going to glue the hugs down in place, layering it over some of our inlay background while we work on our Lovable Sloth. So this guy has been out, I think, for a couple years, but he continues to be one of my favorite. And I am going to have him kind of perched on top of the G in hugs. We're not going to use a body for him. We're just going to stick to his head. But one of the things I love to do is add some shading to my die cuts with Copic markers. And so I'm just doing super simple shading here with my Copic markers before I add him to my project. It makes such a world of difference in the final card design. This little bit of shading here just gives his sweet little face so much character. In addition to our shading, we're going to draw in some eyelashes with a fine tip black pen. We're going to add some white highlights to his eyes. We will layer some black cardstock onto his eyes. We're also going to add some little white dots to his cheeks and then finish with a white highlight on his nose and glossy accents on the nose. Anything you can do to bring and draw in some extra character to these critters, I think, is just so noticeable. I know it doesn't look like much yet, but I promise it's going to be so super cute. I cannot wait to show you him all put together. Anytime I didn't love my coloring, I did take the colorless blender and kind of just push that ink out and around to fix it a little bit. Because the hugs is 3 layers of cardstock, I am going to go ahead and put some foam adhesive squares on the back of the Lovable Sloth head so that I can pop him up, and that he's just going to be positioned a little bit nicer this way because we're using the foam adhesive. I'm going to peel off the backing paper from all of these squares then, and kind of just, you can see I'm popping him up right there sitting on top of the G. Let's go ahead and add our extra layers. One of my favorite tips with these picture book animals is to go ahead and use a couple layers for certain things. So for his nose, I went ahead and did the inlay, but then I'm popping another layer of nose on top. Same with the eyes, it just gives it extra dimension. Now I'm adhering the bow tie, which is probably my favorite part of him, is that he's got this darling little bow tie with a heart in the center. But what I had trouble with is there's not really a good area to pop this up on, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of trimming little pieces of foam adhesive to fit underneath this so it sits nicer. And this is 1 layer of cardstock. I didn't think it looked super great, so I left it, but I am going to go back and die cut another bow tie and layer it on top of this to make it a little bit more substantial. I think if I did this again, I might move him up a little bit higher so that I can have more of the top of the letter G to layer his bow tie on. Here is that black pen used to add eyelashes to the sloth, the little white highlights. Look at his face coming to life, y'all. Just think he's so cute. And then we're going to put a little white highlight there on his nose. Let's go ahead and put some adhesive on that bow tie and let's layer the rest of that on like I said. It really does make a big difference, and I think it looks much better with those 2 layers of cardstock. I am going to add some nice little shading to his bow tie with a red Copic marker. Just a very teeny tiny bit. Nothing too crazy there, but I felt like it needed just a little something to go with the sloth. He needed a little shading. We are almost finished with this card. When I get to this point, This is kind of what I was talking about earlier in the video. After I did one of these, I was like, yep, I am for sure going to do more of these. I do not want my hearts to go to waste. I love these backgrounds. Let's see what else we can do. Let's go to our stash and see what other picture book critters we have. This is a new sequin mix from the Love You 2 release that was just released here in January of 2021 at Simon Says Stamp. It's a fantastic mix for Valentine's and springtime. We're going to be adding a little sprinkling of sequins to each card. Nothing major, just a little bit here and there. Okay, so I decided I am going to do one more background really similar to this, but I wanted to see what else we could do. And one thing that I thought would be fun, this is a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panel of smooth white cardstock, and I'm actually going to die cut the Mini Hearts Party from this twice. So this is going to be the picture book puppy card where most of the card is taken up with a picture book critter, but it's got this fantastic heart background in behind it. That's what I decided to do with this background, but the whole background is this inlay heart design. So amazing. I'm just gonna line that up again. You can see there's a little space at the top and the bottom. That really did not bother me at all. I kind of liked that. So I'm gonna just run that over to my die cutting machine and die cut that. One of the reasons I picked a big picture book is that there is a new die from one of the recent releases. This is from the Love You 2 release that came out near the end of December. It's the mini interactive envelope. And I knew it was going to be the perfect size for one of the big picture book critters to hold. And so that's kind of why I chose this for this next card. Now I am only going to do a little bit of the inlaying on camera. If I did all of this, it would take forever. So definitely this is, like I said, the more time consuming part. Everything else came together so super fast. So if you have the patience, I highly recommend this. If you don't, layer some cardstock strips behind it. That is a much quicker way to get a similar result. And I think it's just as cute. And we're just gonna fill in all of these little rows, just kind of doing whatever here to get our background. I really love the simplicity of the background. I know it's not necessarily simple, but it's so clean, I guess is what I want to say. It's just a really pretty background to look at. All of these backgrounds. I just think this is a fun die. So here are all of the backgrounds that I did off camera. And let's go ahead and put our picture book puppy together. So I have got my little mini envelope. I have my hearts, our heart animals stamp set. We are going to stamp the little card insert with some sentiments from the heart animals stamp set. We've got the Hey You, and what is the other one? Oh, You Are Special to Me. So when the recipient can open up this cute little envelope and they can pull out the little card inside, which I think is fun. If you don't want the envelope to open, you could always just seal it shut. All of the colors of cardstock are the same ones from the background. I wanted this to all flow together really nicely. And I've got my little puppy. Again, he is die cut using the big picture book big body. So it's the body with the die cut arms and then the contrasting color of stomach or whatever color you want to die cut it from. I'm adding shading with Copics. And then the rest of this one is the big picture book puppy, which funny enough, I don't know that I've ever used him before because all of my dies for him were still connected, which was really fun because I've had him for a while. I love my picture book animals You guys probably already know that about me, but love them. I think they're so cute, and I love when you can find new ways to use them with new product. We're going to put his body together. Look how perfect that envelope fits in his arms. I knew it. I'm so excited. We're going to decorate the flap with a little red heart. That red heart does come with the mini interactive envelope. We're going to tuck our little card inside. Tuck that in his arms. I am going to secure the envelope in his arms, but the little card that goes inside, we're just going to have that so it can slide in and out. I think that would be really fun for a recipient, especially I mean anyone, but kids I think would think that was super fun. We'll go ahead and add shading to the head and finish assembling the puppy's head. I'm going to make sure and put adhesive on the back of this. Now, something I think is so cute about this puppy is there's a tongue. So where his mouth is, you can tuck a tongue in there. I kind of forgot. I was mad at myself. But luckily, I'm able to take the tip of my Spellbinders tool-in-one and lift his mouth kind of open, and I can tuck the tongue in there. One of the things I really love about that, and something I don't think I'd ever realized, is that it does have that tongue, but I have a little Shih Tzu, and I have two actually, but my younger one, he had to have some teeth removed when he was little, and I don't know if that's it or not, but now he sleeps with his tongue peeking out of his mouth all the time, and that's what this reminded me of, so I thought it was really cute. I'm going to tuck that in place. We're just going to add a little shading here and there. He looks a little funny without his ears, but we'll get those added. And also some black for the eyes. We'll add some eyelashes. I think eyelashes just add character. And then we also will be putting a little glossy accents on the nose, some little white dots on the cheeks, just little things to add character. Now, you would not have to add any extra sentiment if you don't want to. We do have sentiments on the card tucked in the envelope, but I kind of like something else on the card, especially I lined him up with the heart borders and not the bottom of the card. And so I wanted something that kind of helps ground him, if that makes sense. And so we're going to have him, or have a sentiment kind of overlapping him, and that just kind of helps ground the design a little bit. We're going to be using the Just Because dies from Simon Says Stamp, which is a newer release product as well. Again, die cut from silver holographic cardstock and from white cardstock, adhered one on top of another and layered down along the bottom edge of the card. You can see I've laid the die out. I was trying to decide, and I definitely like that because I think it's long enough. And it was one of them I had laid out as a possibility, so it was fun to be able to use that. Those little white highlights just instantly add character to the face as well. I will add that sentiment, and let's go on to our next card design. So this one is the picture book Love Bear Wafer die. He is always a perfect one, or she is always a perfect one for Valentine's anytime, but I love the little heart on the chest and then the hearts in the ears. I'm going to use my other background that's very similar to the first one, but I did trim this panel down an extra 1/4 of an inch. So this actually measures 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So it's got a little bit wider border all the way around. Inlaid hearts in that again off camera, adding shading to the bear with some Copic markers. We're going to inlay the heart on his chest, inlay the little hearts on the insides of the ears, build up around the mouth. Instead of inlaying the eyes, because they're so teeny tiny, I would recommend black enamel dots. I'm using Nuvo Crystal Drops in ebony black. Just something a little bit quicker. I just don't see the point in die cutting those eyes from black cardstock. I have done it in the past many times, but I have really found that I like that a little better. We're using the Hello Wafer die for this card, in addition to a stamped phrase from the Heart Animals stamp set, just like we've been doing all along. It'll be stamped down there below. Something I want to mention, because I don't know that I did this on camera, I did stamp another sentiment from the Heart Animal stamp set. Inside each card, I stamped Happy Valentine's Day with the doll pink ink. So these cards truly are complete from start to finish, everything, because you're going to see I'm even going to stamp the back of my cards here at the end of the video. Adding eyelashes, we're going to add glossy accents to the nose and to the heart on the chest. All those little finishing details, and then of course the scattering of those cupcake sequins. And then our final card today is going to be our Sweet Cat. And this one is going to be, instead of landscape with this mini Hearts Party border, this is going to be a portrait style card. So kind of like this background here for the puppy is a portrait style card. We're going to do the same thing, only we're going to just die cut one strip and then inlay the hearts in our 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panel and position everything in that vertical style as opposed to the landscape horizontal of the other two cards. So we have 2 each here. And on this one, again, Love Your Guts is die cut from silver holographic cardstock and white cardstock, layered one on top of another, placed onto our card, overlapping our heart border. And then we're coloring in the cat using some gray markers to add a little bit of shading to our little sweet cat. I like how the cat appears to be sitting next to the word love. I did this purposely. I really played around with placement a lot for this one. So it looks like the kitty is sitting right next to the word, and then the rest of the words go down below that line. I hope that makes sense. Really cute. I like, just all fit together so nice. Now this is the card I was talking about. I do have some extra hearts left over, where I think I probably had just enough to create one more background if I wanted to, and I didn't. So I'm always looking for little hearts to add to projects, and I can use them. I'm going to add a heart to the chest on the kitty. The bear on the last card actually had a heart in the design. This one doesn't, but I thought we needed a little pop of color on the kitty, so that's what we're going to do there. Inlaying some nice peony pink cardstock in the ears and in the nose. Added in some whiskers with a white pen, just all those little detail pieces, and then of course stamped an extra sentiment above the die cut one to finish the card. So on the back of each card, I am using brand new sentiments from the Sassy Flaps stamp set that came out with the Love You To release. I did another set of cards on my personal YouTube channel using this stamp set on the back, and you guys loved it. It is such a fantastic stamp set. So I am stamping Love You So, the hours spent on this handmade card, ? All the proof you need. How funny is that, you guys? I think it's just so stinking clever. And then of course underneath I'm just stamping my Handmade by Nichol that I usually put on all of my cards, but I just like that extra little bit on the back. Also, on the flap of my doll pink envelopes that match my cards, I'm stamping Crafty Goodness Enclosed. That is also from Sassy Flaps. I love that it just gives that little extra touch to our envelope, finishes off the whole thing so nicely. It's the complete package. We've got our flap of our envelope stamped. We've got obviously the front of our cards is decorated pretty. We have Happy Valentine's Day stamped inside the card, and then we have a great little sentiment, a little sassy sentiment on the back that just gives it such a fun finished feel. If you guys haven't checked out Sassy Flaps, definitely check it out. If you like to decorate the back of your cards, it is a fantastic stamp set for doing that. And here I just have a couple of custom stamps set up in an extra MISTI, and I always leave them in here, so it makes it really easy to just stamp the back of my cards. I have one set up for portrait and one for landscape, and that's what I'm doing here, just stamping those right below my little Sassy Flaps phrase on the back of each card. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these picture book Valentines, part of Making the Cut January 2021. Please be sure to visit the Simon Says Stamp blog for more information on this project. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.